I
have a
used to do the
conversation.
lives by myself because people would get in there and they would actually talk and do, the questions. But sometimes you'll get people up in there who be trying to make it too personal, and I'm like, say,
Yeah,
bro, this
yeah.
ain't it.
Yeah, and they eventually come on, but it's like for me the anxiety of waiting for
Hmm.
people to get in there, and I hate it. So I love having guests more than I actually love doing solo lives.
It's just finding a good balance on it.
Absolutely.
And I know we are doing this, but I just sent you that page so you can just see it if you want later on.
Oh, no problem. That's cool. That is absolutely cool. So yeah, so we will go ahead and get started. Let me go ahead and put the like I said, if it kicks back out, because we was good before the end, but it seems like sometimes when we actually go live, it seems like the internet just want to do what it want to do
I
on
got
the
look, I got all my bars. All my bars
and
there.
so far mine too, but it be doing this thing, and I'm like, why you messing up? You ain't messed up when we was like, talking originally.
Look, that's that distraction thing.
It is, it is. All right, well, go ahead and just give us an introduction.
So I always say, it's funny, I say Coach Shy because that's technically my title now. I am
Hmm.
a certified life coach, but I don't do the life coach side of it. I'm more of your business mentor, your well, you could say life coach. So yeah, I do all
Okay,
of that.
it's like,
It's all life. It's just
yeah,
different aspects of life.
yeah.
So I've been certified in that for 2.5 years, but I am a licensed cosmetologist instructor. Been doing that since 2006. So a lot of different things for me, but all of my things kind of are tying together, and
Hmm.
I'm using these things to help people grow, you know, um, mentally,
Yeah,
spiritually, physically, business wise. So we're not just stuck on what's happening right now, or we're
yeah,
stuck on what happened before. You got to use what happened before to, move where we're at now with some wisdom, and then use that to move into better situations in the future.
yeah. Absolutely, I absolutely agree. I'm a firm believer that in my tagline, people probably don't see it underneath my logo, but my tagline is life is your training ground to learn, grow, and become better you. So I feel like everything we do in life, that's the good things we do, that's the bad things we do, it's all for your purpose, It's the wisdom that you gain from it. So you're like, not really the life coaching. Yeah, you are. I've seen your page. For those who are watching too, I do have her website in the caption of this video. So you can always tune in with her, lock in with her. If you love what she's saying, lock in with her. Like exactly what she said. We here to help each other grow and learn. And you can't do that when you're just by yourself. And as introverted as I am, I still realize that I need people. Even though I don't have to be around people 24/7, but I need people to get to my next level in life. So, and even to learn, from them. So I absolutely agree with that. Y'all ask y'all questions. Those who've watched before, you kind of know how I go. I got my own questions for her, but she's literally here for you guys. I just do the questions just in case you guys don't ask nothing, so the conversation can flow. But please ask your questions to her. We're talking about self reflection in relationships and how it helps. So going on to the next one. So what made you choose this topic?
It's something we don't talk about. It's the biggest thing, whether once again, whether it's business, whether it's personal, it's something that we don't do. We get into this habit of we always looking at everybody else. I'm like, oh, well, she done this to me. Well, I would be in a better position if my daddy didn't do this. I would be in a better position if my mama didn't do this. But time out. We are born into certain positions. Just because I'm born into it does not mean that I have to stay stuck in it. And just because it's an uncomfortable position that I'm in, who do I have around me that's going to help me shift out of that? If you
Mm,
don't have nobody around you that's going to help you shift your mindset or shift how you're thinking or change your perspective on things, you might need to reevaluate that circle around you,
mm-hmm,
because you're stagnant.
mm-hmm,
And when you're stuck in being stagnant, everything around you becomes stagnant, even your thinking. So when you do start getting around people, you're like, dang, I've been missing this. No, it's been sitting here the whole time. You just didn't choose to reflect in front of you, because
Mhm.
ultimately there's only one thing that we really can control in life, and that's us.
Absolutely.
I had it there. I look, I used to hate when people would say, oh, you need to go to a therapist. Girl, you got anger problems. I didn't want to hear that. I was finding ways to say, nah, you got a problem. Something wrong with you. But ultimately, I did have an anger problem. I
Mhm.
had to see that for myself. I had to accept where I was at. And the first thing
Mhm.
my therapist told me is, I'm glad you're sitting here, but time out. You can't control this person. You can't control that person. I need you to open your hand. Because some people are visuals. Take your
Mhm.
hand and put your hand in front of you. What can you fit in your hand? I can fit this pen. I can fit my cell phone. I cannot fit a human in my hand.
Mhm.
Not even
That's
a
good.
baby.
That's good.
That baby gonna require me to open both of my hands to actually
Mhm.
really carry it. But
Mhm.
the only thing that I am tangibly able to carry is something small that I control.
Mhm.
I control what this pen writes. I control how that cell phone rings. I control who I call on that cell phone. But ultimately, none of these things work without me giving it the power to work.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
in order for me to give power to something, I got to give my energy, which means I only can control me,
Mhm.
my energy,
Yeah.
my thoughts, and anything that's around me. I have to choose whether I accept it or not.
Mhm.
And that's
Yep.
why we have to look at choice is really big in life.
Mhm. Yeah.
And it's a
And
part of reflection.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
I say, and it's a part of reflection.
Mhm. Yeah, I absolutely agree with 1,000% of what you said because that's the reason I based the foundation of my brand on accountability and mindset change. Because even in myself, you said a lot just now. And as you were talking, I thought about as adults, we are dealing with a lot of childhood trauma. We're dealing with teenage trauma. We're dealing with young adult trauma. And then we're dealing with our adult trauma. So we got a lot that we've kept in our hearts, in our minds, in our thoughts to where it's like the only way we feel we could protect ourselves or be right is if we blame the other people. Well, if you didn't do this to me, then I wouldn't. Well, if you said, then I would. So it's always the pointing, versus I tell women all the time. I say my content may seem like it's rough. It may seem like I'm for more for the men than for the women, but I'm actually more for the women. If you really take time to heal your thoughts and look at the content that I'm making, because I ultimately think we have way more power than we are operating in. And a lot of times it takes you to get your feelings hurt in order to come into who you are. So dang, I should have wrote that saying down, but it's like it's something that is said where it's like that hurt opened my eyes. So it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't, it wasn't until I got hurt, because when everything looking good, when it's feeling good, we vibing, we got the blessings coming, ain't nothing wrong. Oh, we gonna stay doing what we do. But when that hurt like it hurt, and when we sick or tired of it hurting, you gonna come into your power. And so that's why I do the content the way I do it. Mindset change and accountability. It's time for women to come on up into your power. We have made ourselves victim, and I feel like we made ourselves more victim because we aren't ready to fully self-reflect. So I just want to add that on to
Or
what you.
another way to look at it, I tell this to my students when we in class. So when life start life, and it's two ways you can look at life. You can say, oh, I just took a L. I took a L. The average mindset is going to say a L is a loss,
Yeah,
but a L is not a loss. It's a
a
lesson.
lesson. Yeah,
So
absolutely.
in everything that you're doing and everything that you're growing, I like to say growing, not going, growing, because every lesson you grow with each thing that you learn, you're growing. You might not feel like it, and it might not seem like it, but when that situation or that opportunity comes back around, it's testing you to see, did you learn what you were supposed to do last time? And that's where a
Because
lot
if
of us get stuck.
yeah, because if you didn't learn, you're gonna have to learn in one way or another because it's gonna repeat itself.
It
And
constantly repeats until you get the picture.
yeah. And the thing is it's not necessarily that the situation changed, but it's supposed to change you enough for you to change the situation. So it's a outlook, it's a mindset change on what it is that you're dealing with.
Right.
If you hate, if you got a problem with people steadily poking at you, well, they ain't gonna stop poking at you. So what do you do? Do you
So
keep
why
acting
is it
out?
the first thing you should ask yourself, why are they poking at me? What am
Mm,
I? And a lot of people don't ever, they hate saying this because they don't want to feel like it's them. But what am I doing to attract that to me?
mhm.
What am I doing? Who's around me? Why is this happening? People don't like asking why to themselves, but they're going to ask you why.
They're gonna ask you why, they're gonna ask God why, they ask everybody else why except for themselves.
And
Why?
sometimes it takes us sitting in the mirror, sometimes makeup smeared, attitude in the mirror. Close the door.
Yeah.
Close the door and be honest with yourself.
Hmm.
And if you can't vocally say it, get a journal. Be honest with yourself in a journal.
Yeah. James, hey James. So I see your comment. I'm going to get to your comment. Let me ask her this next question, and then we're gonna come back to your comment because I actually think that's something that I actually had on mine. So I'm glad that you said it. So before I go to his comment, and you said a lie, you actually answered it. So it probably won't even take long to just give another summary. What does it
Yeah.
mean to actually self-reflect?
To self-reflect, it means looking at the big picture. Don't look at, oh, what this person done at that moment. We need to look at, what did I do? What did I do going into this? How did I get to this place?
Mhm.
What could I have done differently? What did I do? We don't, there's this thing where you say, oh, I don't ever want to live life with regret. I do want to live life in an opportunity where I can look back and say, you know what, I did that. I was out of line. I could have handled that differently. Because once again, you control you. So your reaction and response to things control the environment around you. And
Mhm.
you have to be able to be honest with yourself before you honest with anybody else. You
Yeah.
can't demand somebody else to tell you the truth. You can't demand somebody else to not tell you a lie. If you lying to yourself, if you not telling
Ooh,
yourself the truth, you
you
gotta
in my
be,
head. You in my. I'm sure. Like we lie to ourselves so much. I swear to God, we lie
because
to
we
ourselves
want to feel
so
good.
much.
We want to feel good, but everything that feels good is not necessarily good. Sometimes you have to, like you say, sometimes you gotta hurt to boss up. Sometimes you gotta sometimes you gotta have that moment where you just like, I gotta disconnect from everybody.
Yep.
I got to pull away because I gotta deal with me.
Hmm.
I got to.
I'm glad you said that. And James, I'm coming. I'm coming, James. Just hold on. But I'm glad you said that. I watch people, and so it's a difference with being alone and being lonely. And I watch people when they be like, I'm so bored, what to do? And it's like that's repetitive of what they say. And I'm like, if if you literally have to be outside partying, kicking it in somebody else's space in order to be entertained or in order to feel accomplished and not be bored, that's a clear sign you have not sat with yourself, because you should be more at peace when you're with yourself than when you're with other people. So the
True.
fact that you're so bored to where you can't sit with yourself and you got to just be out all the time or partying or in somebody's face, that's a clear sign. And I know y'all not gonna like this, but you don't really like yourself. You
Yourself.
don't really like what's there. It's something there with you that you don't like to sit with. And that should be your time. When you're bored and you're lonely, that should be your time of self-reflecting, because in that self-reflection, baby, God probably give you a dream, a goal, your next step, something. But we so bored, we always gotta be in somebody else's face. We always gotta be around somebody else. We can't sit at home by ourselves. We so bored. And it's that we're bored with ourselves. And that's a problem.
And so when we were talking earlier, that's where I was at. I was missing the mix. I needed to be in the mix. I was missing out. I was missing out. But what was I really missing out? Because
Exactly.
once I really got to a point where I was content with myself and able to deal with me. Because guess what?
Mhm.
When you got real people in your ear, real friends, real associates in your ear, they're telling you these things either very loud or they're very subtle.
Mhm.
That's those little bitty voices. Or maybe even God probably even be talking to you in your sleep, in your dreams. Hey, I need you to do this. I
Mhm.
need you to pull back. I need
Yeah.
you to slow down. And we so I'm going, I'm going, I'm going, I'm going. And
Yeah.
then bricks.
Mhm.
You hit bricks and you're like, dang, I don't know what to do no more.
Mhm.
Because you needed to stop.
Mhm.
Everything in order for anybody to make conscious decisions in conscious, you know, I call them plays because you it's like a game book. In life, you have to be able to sit down and study.
Mhm.
And we would think, oh, I need to study everybody else. Now you need to study yourself.
Yeah. You know, I see a lot of people. I have so many people sending me stuff through my inbox like, "Oh, listen to this. What you think?" Because they like the things that I say or whatever. And I tell them all the time when I reply back to different things that they talk to me about, and they're like, "How do you get that?" I'm like, I've sat with myself enough. Like the things that y'all think is boring has helped me self-reflect and help me find myself. So like them podcasts y'all think is boring, that reading that y'all think is boring, that sitting by yourself and going to eat by yourself, going to, take trips by yourself, all that y'all think is boring. I had to do that in order to find myself, in order to find my purpose, in order to find out how I'm supposed to hear. Because that's another thing too. We talk so much to where we don't hear, but you don't know that about yourself because you don't sit with yourself. And it's like you want what other people have. You want that calmness, you want that wisdom, you want that smarts, you want that peace, but you're not willing to do what it takes to get that. You want to be out all the time. You want to be around people. You ain't drowning out the noise. And a lot of times when you sit by yourself, it's gonna drown out the noise.
Or you're gonna constantly hear yourself and you
Ooh,
gotta drown yourself out.
and you got to deal with,
Because
and you got to
sometimes
learn how to.
we're our worst enemy.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
it ain't the people that's messing us up. It's us. It's
Mm-hmm.
this right here.
Yeah. How we process, how we interact, how we respond, it's us. But you
Somebody
don't get
said
that.
something. Somebody probably said something to you when you was younger, and it just festers. Or you at work, and somebody say something. I can't believe this. Bleep 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 said this to me, and then you just sitting here festering and festering and festering, and before you know it, you walking around slamming and breaking stuff.
Mhm.
Why? Because you couldn't control this.
Mhm.
This is the battlefield that everybody got to deal with on a daily basis.
Mhm.
This is it. Everybody
Yeah.
think it's the world around us, but it's this.
Mhm. And if you don't deal with it, you're gonna let it seep into your heart, and then yes, now you reacting to the thoughts and the things that you let in your heart, and now you find yourself lost, hot headed, short tempered, all of that that's gonna knock you back.
Right.
Okay, James. Now we finna get to you. Now we gonna get to
Mhm.
Okay, so hopefully he's still on here. But he said, can we talk about how difficult it is to self reflect and grow? It's a gruesome process that requires a lot of effort on our parts to truly heal certain aspects of our lives, and it can be extremely draining, but it's definitely worth it. So, for his question, so can you talk about how difficult it is to self reflect and grow?
It's difficult when you don't want to deal with you. That's the difficult part in it. Because we only want to see the good. We only want to embrace what looks good. We only want to embrace what feels good because we want to look good to everybody else. We want to feel good to everybody else, but we don't want to feel good to ourselves. We don't
Mhm.
want to look good to ourselves. So what we do, we go in the mirror and we get our makeup and we make our faces up real pretty and we put on that mask. Because don't nobody know when you take that mask off, baby, you hurt. You're hurting, you're broken, you're angry, you're mad. You just upset about so many different things, but you never get down to the bottom of it because I'm a big girl. I got this. I ain't got to talk to nobody. Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Yes, you
Yep.
do.
Yep.
You can talk to God. You ain't got to go find somebody on the street to talk to.
Mhm.
Preferably, I do tell everybody ain't nothing wrong with going to therapy.
Yes.
Nothing is
Absolutely.
wrong with going to therapy. If we was raised up in the church, the first thing they tell us, oh, you need to take it to God. No, some things you have to take to a therapist.
You,
Some
yeah,
things you have to get medicated because it's more than just talking. Some things is a chemical imbalance. So
absolutely.
you have to know the difference between spiritual or is it really a mental?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
just because it's mental, that doesn't mean it's bad. You just need to figure out how to control it, how
Absolutely.
to balance it.
Yeah.
But once again, that's a choice.
Yeah.
And we have to be able to embrace the whatever choice that we make.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's your choice. It's not your mama choice. It's not your daddy choice.
Mm-hmm.
It's yours. So your
Mm-hmm.
choice affects your life. Because guess
Mm-hmm.
what? Your mom and daddy made their choice. And whatever choice they made, you either had to live with it later on through generational things, because you heard it and heard it and heard it, and it festered from a young age. So now you got to deal with it from young to adult and hope it don't fester into something else in relationship wise or even with your kids.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of times they do. A lot of times they do, because we don't sit with it. It's one of those things too. It's a. I'm glad you said that, James. It's draining. Like people, I don't think I have to even tell some people like y'all don't understand. I work for full-time job. I have a sports kid and I run a brand. And with that, the type of brand that I run, I'm not a therapist, but I do a lot of things that therapists do. So you got to think on a daily. I'm not only dealing with my own shit. I'm dealing with client stuff. I'm dealing with just regular social media people stuff. Like I'm taking in so much energies on a daily on top of my own personal tasks. So I'm like, it's draining as heck to do it. So the strength that you see that I have, that comes from me sitting with myself and digressing and getting off all this stuff that I took on from y'all and all this stuff that I'm taking on from me that I'm still battling, that I don't post, on social media, the stuff I'm battling from childhood, young adulthood, my marriage, and divorce. Like it's so much things that I'm battling and I'm fighting. But in that, I'm so drained to where I don't if I don't want to answer your call or your text, I will not. Because
So
I have
that's a good point that you made right there. If I don't want to, I won't.
I won't. That's my
We, we
self-reflection time.
feel we feel we're obligated.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, if they call, I gotta pick it up. No, you don't.
Yep. I
Well,
used to be like that.
they need me. No, they don't. Here's the
You need you.
you need you. So when we start picking up all of these bags for everybody else, a good way to visualize it. Think about the Erica Badu song "Bag Lady."
When you said that, I should quote the lyrics exactly. Who gonna help you carry yours?
So I'm picking up all these bags, and I'm picking up all these bags, and I'm walking around here, and now I'm hunched over, and I'm tired, and like you say, I'm strained, I'm drained, stressed, whatever word you want to fill in the blank with. How about you do that? Pick your word and fill it in. Put it on your t-shirt. It's temporary. We're gonna rip it off in a little bit. You need to be able to understand every time you pick up a bag, it puts more pressure on your body. A body is only supposed to carry so much weight. A mind is only supposed to carry so much weight. So if you keep putting too much weight on it, what's going to happen? It breaks down. As it breaks down, if you're not pouring back into yourself to rebuild what you're breaking down,
Mm-hmm.
you're broken.
Mm-hmm.
And just because you're broken, that doesn't mean that you can't be fixed.
Yep.
Once again, we back to that word called choice.
Yep.
I have to
And
choose to put myself first. I
yeah,
have to
and
choose
you
to be a priority.
so I choose to put myself first. I choose to make myself a priority, which also means don't allow nobody to tell you when to come off that. Because people will guilt trip you too. Dang, how long? Well, you ain't answered my call in 2 days. Okay. Because I needed 4 days to self-reflect.
That's too
Now
much.
what? It's
Look, that's too much information. I will reach out to you
fact
when I'm ready.
when I'm ready. Yeah,
Whenever I'm ready. I don't know when I'm ready looks
mhm,
like. I might feel like I'm okay today, and then tomorrow I am not okay. I
absolutely.
have the choice
Hmm.
to say, I decide when
Hmm.
I'm ready.
Yep.
You don't.
And a lot of people don't realize that you ain't the only one dealing with triggers. Even though we might hold it good, we might make it look good, we all still dealing with some type of triggers. And a lot of us, we know how to hold it better because, again, a lot of us know how to also self-reflect. And not a lot of us have gotten to the point where okay, I ain't gonna point the finger this time. I see why I went wrong. I see how I put myself in the same position that I said I wasn't gonna be in with the when the last one happened. So a lot of us are self-reflecting. So yeah, we need time because it's draining as hell. It's very draining to self-reflect, but it's very necessary. It's hella necessary.
So even in that self-reflection, you have to be able to self-care.
Oh,
You have
oh,
to be
oh,
able
oh.
to self-care. In order for me to reflect, I have to be able to understand once I start pulling away these things,
Mhm.
I have to be able to pour back into me. And
Yep.
this is my self-care. This is
Mhm.
why we say shut it down for a couple of hours. Cut
Mhm.
your phone off, cut some
Mhm.
music on, go run you a tub, put some Dr. Teals in it and just soak.
Mhm.
Go find your happy place,
Yep.
your space, whatever it may look like, whatever it may be. You have to do that in order to rebuild.
Yeah.
You have to refresh. It's
Yeah. Cause
almost like your computer. If you have too many
yeah.
windows open, you
Yeah.
slow down.
Mhm.
Your processing slows down. Your thinking slows down. So now
Mhm.
it could be something that you've been on your feet about, and you're like, dang, how I missed that. You got too much stuff going on. Slow down.
Yep. Yep. Your spirit not clear. Your space, your mental space not clear. And I'm glad this is another life coach. Shayla, she says sometimes you don't have the mental capacity and energy to handle someone else dumping on you. You need that break and the time away to reset, reflect, and rejuvenate. And
Yes.
Shayla, I don't know if you was on when I was talking, but I was saying as a life coach, like I have a 9 to 5 that I work. I have a son that's in sports and entering high school. I have clients and I have my normal content creating that I'm doing. I said I have so much on me, so much being dumped on me, so much energy is being dumped on me to the point where when people inbox me stuff, I be like, go to my website. All the information is there. Go to my website. I offer certain services. Go to my website. I don't have the time to make time for you when the information is clearly there. So, what makes you special? I mean, I got to take time out of my day to reiterate something that I already took time out to iterate. Go to my website. It
It's
is what
called
it is.
boundaries. It's
That
creating boundaries.
boundaries. Bingo. Right there. Right there.
Here's something else. So to chime in on her comment,
Mhm.
sometimes we don't have the mental capacity, but this is what a compassionate friend or somebody who's aware of what they're doing or about to do will do. And me and my spouse started doing this. He'll get off from work. I'll get off from work. First thing, what's your mental capacity right now?
Yeah.
What's your level? Where you at? 1 to 10. One being the worst and 10 is being I can handle it.
Mhm.
If I tell you I'm a 7, we gonna weigh it. If you think it's too heavy for me, I'll wait and we'll bring it back around.
Mhm.
But you have to be able to know when, almost like we're playing cards, when to hold them, when to fold them.
Yeah.
Some things just ain't worth the energy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
Absolutely.
I got some friends that be like, it's retrograde, it's this, is that, is that. It's still all got to do with communication. It's still got to do with reflecting. It
At
still
the
has
end of the
to do
day.
with boundaries. It all still has to do with self because you can only do what I allow you to do.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Hi,
And
Ish.
yeah, I was like, then another comment came exactly.
That look.
They said,
Hey boo, that's him. Look, he came out there. Look, before dumping our garbage. That's what we do.
yeah, let's normalize asking people what type of mental space they're in before dumping our garbage. And that's crazy y'all said that because I don't know what podcast I was listening to. And it made me check myself because I don't vent a lot to people. Like I'm the person people come to vent to. So I don't dump a lot on people. I deal with a lot of it myself. And I've learned how to get it off me myself, so I don't necessarily go to other people, although it's a lot of loads I carry that's so heavy I have to talk to somebody. But I've got to a space even then because they're like, girl, you don't never talk to me, like hit me up, I'm here. So I got a few people I talk to about my deepest stuff, and I have learned to hit them up and say, hey, I'm heavy. Y'all know I don't bother people, y'all know I'll eat it myself. I'm heavy. Are you in a mental space to hear me vent? Can you hear me? Because it's
Can
heavy
you
what I'm
hear
saying.
me? Look, can you hear me today?
And they be like, yes, go for it. I can handle it. I'm going through something right now, but for the fact that you don't ever vent to nobody, I got you jumping on me. And so then I release it. And it's been times where people come, hey, what's going on? What you doing, girl? I be like, right now, I can't take it. I'll hit you up tomorrow or I'll hit you up later. Right now, I don't have the space to listen to that right now. I can't even give you an answer. I'm not there. I
So
need a reset.
this is something that I'm still currently working on. When I take somebody's stuff and I'm listening, I gotta
Mhm.
learn how to just listen sometimes and not put on my superwoman cape.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Cause I be wanting to, oh well, let me tell you. Look, we gonna fix it just like this. This how we
Hmm.
gonna do it. And sometimes they don't need that. And since I got to get out of my head trying to be superwoman and keep putting on my cape. My
Yep.
mama used to always tell me, you need to burn that little bit of cape you got. That cape
Hmm.
ain't gonna get you nowhere. Cause when you
Yep.
need the cape, who giving you a cape?
Who? Nobody.
Ain't nobody giving
Nobody.
you no cape. You got to
Hmm.
figure it out.
Yep.
And that's how
Yep.
you really start learning like your true tribe. You know what I'm saying? They can feel when something's wrong with you. They'll hit
Hmm.
you up, yo, what's good? You all right?
You know what's crazy? I've been praying for my tribe because as of right now, my tribe of people who have not, and this I've known them for years, who have not released my information, used it against me, in my weakness. Oh, you're supposed to be a life coach and you dealing with X, Y, and Z. My tribe, or right now, and this is crazy, it's only men. And I've been having a problem with. I actually have. Look at God, he just checked me. I actually have one. She just commented. I have one woman that I finally opened up and said, okay, this she can be somebody I can vent to, because I've tried out. I put my foot out there and tested it a little bit with a few women, right? Couldn't handle it. I'm hearing my business from other people that I don't know and talk to, but y'all know and talk to. So how they know that when you the only one I told? So I've been praying to find my tribe of women, because no matter, at the end of the day, even though people feel like I'm more balanced, even though people feel like I can see both sides, I could talk with men, talk about men, speak for them, all of that, even though they know that, and I have men counterparts that hold me accountable and check me in my emotions, I need women, because
Somebody I
women
look
legit understand. You know what I mean? Like, they legit can empathize and sympathize. Men probably just don't empathize a little bit, but women can sympathize and empathize with other women. So it's like I'm trying to find that woman tribe that's also a safe space. And in my self reflection, I'm like, dang, that's crazy. I don't have women. I got men. I don't have women.
and even in having the men, when you do find yourself in a serious relationship, you got to check them homeboys who was always there, because sometimes their overprotectiveness can
Yeah,
cross over that line
yeah.
to the person that you with, and now you feeling like you got to choose when technically you shouldn't have to choose. If
Hmm.
this is who I choose to be with,
Hmm. And
then
I haven't had so far. Obviously, I ain't in a relationship, so I haven't crossed that path yet. Um, but I do a lot of conversations, and again, this is because, like, what works for one person ain't gonna work for the other. So that is exactly why that self reflection plays a big part in this. Because let's talk about the opposite sex friends. My thing is, when I see people, it's like I feel like I'm strong enough to the point where I only have people in my, and that's just me of where I'm at now. I don't know until I actually get there with the relationship, but
right,
I feel like I have people in my space of men who knows their place. So they will know, because even when I talk to them about different dudes with dating, like, I test them out, they to listen. They ain't really overstepping. They don't even really dig into questions. And I'm like, you don't be asking me nothing. You don't even care about me.
you be wanting them to ask a question. Girl,
Like,
ask me something.
like, hear me out. But so it's like I feel like they know that boundary to the point where I wouldn't have to choose when it comes to them. So where I know that they know, oh, she in a relationship now. He got her. She got on my nerves so much. I'm glad he got her. And she ain't got
Somebody needed to do it.
Somebody got, So I feel like the dudes is like that. Now I will have to cross that line now to where with the guy I'm with, have that mental capacity, emotional capacity to understand my relationship with the opposite, sex. So it's like once I get there, I'm gonna have to hit you back up and like, girl, look, this
Look,
is what
look, that's a work in progress.
yeah,
Cause I know it should be quick to I don't look that's just a tad bit too friendly. I'm like, hey man, it's wow.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah,
but here's the thing. Just like we know women, men know men.
yeah,
And sometimes the opposite sex sees what we can't see. And we
absolutely,
have to be able to take what is being told to us
mm-hmm,
openly and not personally.
mm-hmm,
We like to take a bunch of things personal. Like Monica say, don't take it personal. You got to take what you need out of it to get to where you need to get to.
yeah.
I might not like what you said, but I needed to hear it.
You
Because if
know
I
what?
didn't hear it, I wouldn't grow.
That's a good self reflection right there, and I think a lot of us need to look in the mirror, and that right there hurt. When I had to do that, I had to get to a point where um I don't like what you said, but I needed that. I don't like what you said, but I see the value in what you said. And when I'm doing like content that I'm doing, asking questions, things like that, what really bothers me, I hate when people when people come like, oh, you just don't want nobody to disagree with you. I feel like it's disrespect to the journey I'm on. Because do you know how long I had to sit with myself to accept people disagreeing with me? And then to come tell me, oh, you don't want nobody, when really you're the one that don't want nobody to disagree with you. And so you're projecting that back towards me. The thing is, you can tell me I don't like what you said and I don't agree with what you said, but I respect what you said. It's a That's a part of self-reflection, knowing how to take the information that's needed and stop focusing on the information that's not needed. Because that's what we do. We focus on the stuff
All,
that's not
all you
needed.
doing, all you doing is sifting gold. You sifting gold. You taking what's valuable
Mhm.
and you letting whatever else don't
Yeah.
fall through.
We eating the bones. Take the meat and throw the bones away. Why are you eating the bones? But when people that eat the
Savage.
bones, you eat
That
the bones and throw the meat away, that's how you know you need some self-reflection. You ain't set with yourself enough. You ain't got no accountability. You ain't got no type of I won't say wisdom. I was gonna say you ain't got no wisdom, but you ain't got no type of mindset change. You just like you nitpicking at the things that you don't need because it's something in you that's unsettled. And so you got to feel empowered. You got to feel over somebody. You got to feel in control by trying to focus on the things that you don't need to focus on so that you can make somebody else look stupid. That's something internal that you need to deal with.
and that's another even with that accountability thing, you have to be very mindful of who you allow to hold you accountable. Because
Yeah.
if they can't hold themselves accountable, you damn sure can't hold me accountable.
Yeah.
Because we got to be able to walk down the street together. Just like you
Hmm.
hold me, I gotta hold you.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna go to my next question, but this comment, because I'm gonna do a panel. I gotta orchestrate it, but I'm gonna do a panel of opposite sex counterparts. And because I know it's so taboo, but I believe God made man and woman, right? So he didn't make you to have to walk on eggshells and stay away from men as a woman. He didn't make you as a man to have to walk on eggshells and stay away from women, all because we're in relationships. So I feel like we have to get to a point, a mature point, and it's going to take with self-reflection. Now, of course, respect the boundaries of your relationship. What you and your partner choose, cool. Don't, I ain't saying go against that. But we have to get to a point in our mindset where we understand that even as your woman, there are things you're not gonna hear from me because I'm your woman and we arguing and we fighting and you like, oh, you always got attitude. You might not hear what I'm saying from me, but you can hear from another woman that's gonna check you to where you're gonna be like,
Let's not say check. Let's
so
let's
check,
call it
hold,
a different way.
hold
There we
accountable,
go.
aka check. So at the end of the day, you still checking me
Because
because
I get what you're saying, but sometimes our words
mm-hmm,
taint the message.
mm,
the way you say it or the way it's delivered can either dilute it
Hmm.
or it can make it it can make it super strong or it
So
can dilute it. And
so checking.
when a man hears something saying, "Oh, you trying to check
Yeah,
me?"
no, 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 no,
Hang
no,
up.
no. I'm not saying check. Yeah, no, no, no. I get what you're saying. No, no, no. I'm not saying the woman saying I'm checking you for your woman. I'm saying the result of it is me checking you,
Yeah, yeah.
holding you accountable, if that's what you want to say. But the result of it is I'm still checking you, saying that okay, you tripping. This is what your woman is saying. How you don't, how you don't see that, or whatever the case, the conversation gonna be to the point where a man may not hear from you as his woman, but to hear other women saying it, and it's like, dang, that's what she was saying. You hear it
But we do
differently
that. We do that in life. Because think
in
about
life
it this way.
general, exactly.
It's not just men and women in relationships.
Mm-hmm.
We do this in family dynamics.
Mm-hmm.
Because some mothers have friends that can speak to their daughters, different tone. We got a little
Mm-hmm.
space in between us, and
Right.
she can say what I couldn't say.
Right.
Or some men can do that with
Mm-hmm.
sons because sons look. Some fathers, and it's gonna sound bad when I say this, but it just got to be said. Some parents, I ain't gonna leave it as men, some parents have animosity or jealousy or
Mm-hmm.
envy towards their kids because their
Mm-hmm.
kids are doing things that they could not do, or they didn't have the passion to
Absolutely.
do, or they didn't have the confidence to do. So what they do, and they it's so subtle. It's subtle,
Yeah.
but it's not subtle. The child
Yeah.
sees it because they look at it as, oh, my mama don't like me. They slight me. But ultimately, there's a disconnect because that parent is not gonna come to that child and say,
Yeah.
hey, and when I was coming up, I wish somebody done this for me.
Yeah.
I wish somebody helped me feel this kind of way. None of that's said.
Mhm.
So now you
Yeah.
got a child walking around feeling slighted, and you got a parent feeling like they're being disrespected. When y'all really two of the same people, y'all both feeling the same way, but
Mhm.
y'all don't know how to communicate. That's what the problem is.
Because you're both in the midst of the situation. So my example was for men and women for the simple fact that we're talking about relationships, and um her comment was on the men and women because we've made it taboo that when you're in a relationship you just gotta stay away from the opposite sex. And I honestly feel like that's something we need to come against. We need to show people how to interact with the opposite sex. You ain't gotta be best as a friend, you ain't gotta be alone with them, but to just totally make it taboo, to feel like you can't learn from the opposite sex just because you're in a relationship. That's the part I don't respect or like when it comes to relationships. So I'm going to do a panel on it. I'm going to have men and women on the panel, and I'm going to sit here. I'm going to make sure I got the information together and the examples so that we can just kind of see from both parts. Um, when it came to like the self reflection, and I'm gonna bring that part up because I did a panel with a guy who was married, and his wife was actually all in the comment sections. Um, he was married, and his panel was talking about creating a safe space for your partner, and he was saying how his best friend is a woman, and the best friend, I think they've been married 7 8 years or something like that. And the wife was in the comments, she was like, yeah, she was like, I studied them, I watched them, I've seen their interactions. She, the way she interact with him and me, and she was like, I absolutely trust that she's legit his best friend, and there has never been nothing. And she was like, to be honest, she said it's been times we've been into it, he don't hear me, I guess because we are into it, and he'll come back and be like, and he'll say the girl name, and he be like, man, she told me XYZ. He was like, well, I didn't see it like that, but then the way she broke it down, now I see what you're saying. So when I say that, I'm saying we got to get to a point where we don't make it taboo, even in relationships, because again, it's self-reflection is good, but as a man, you can't always go to another man for him to tell you how women think or operate. You're going to have to go to women at times to see how this woman is thinking and operate. So we got to get to that point. We not really, making it taboo. But anyway, I'm gonna do a panel on that another time. I don't want to get off subject into the opposite sex friends. So let me
Another
get back up. So that was
is
her
this.
comment, James. Huh?
Look, I
You
started
reading the
reading his
comment?
comment.
Okay. So Shayla was saying, back to what you were saying. She was saying, right, you got to be able to dissect the information and take the gems and leave the rest. And that's Ooh, I was gonna say something, but I'm gonna get into my question. I'm gonna wait on that one. But yes, exactly, Shayla. I almost said something. Okay. Then James said another perspective. He said another perspective is the man might think that the other woman is just taking his woman's side because most men are used to that. But if the heart, but if he hears it from another man, like, bruh, you tripping, he may be quicker to hear the man's perspective. Just my personal experience. Yeah.
And that's true because you relate. A man's gonna relate to another man. That's bro code. Just like we got girl code. I could look at you across the room if me and you friends and have a whole conversation with you. Bro can look at bro on the other side of the room and they having a whole conversation and we just blind to what's happening right now. But that's because they connect on a level that men connect on. Women connect on a level that women connect on. Because
Mhm.
women, we're we're emotional creatures. Now, some men like to say that women are unstable creatures. Some of us are certain times of the month. Yes, we super unstable. But just like a woman is unstable, there's a lot of unstable men running around here as of late.
So look, I'm glad you said that because James, although that is true, and again, I always say do what works for you, but what works for you may not work for nobody else,
Right.
and vice versa. So that's why I'm saying, like, even the man, you may say that he can relate to a man because they are men, but there are a lot of men who are emotional men as well, and they not that logical. So just as well as you probably can't trust a woman for being emotional and take her side, you probably can't always trust every man too. So it's not necessarily about the gender, but it's about the emotional intelligence of the people that's in your circle, men and women. So
And
but I
that
want
falls back into that accountability thing. Because you have
accountability.
to be able to trust the person that's telling you, bro, you tripping.
Yeah.
You gotta know when
Um,
they tell you you tripping, that it has some valid reason behind it, and y'all can communicate why without you
mhm,
getting personal and your feelings getting hurt. You
mhm.
gotta be able to take you gotta be able to take you out of the chair and just look at what y'all trying to deal with.
Mhm. And she said, "Is that she or he?" I'm
No,
sorry.
that's ish.
You said he? I can't
I,
see the profile picture. Oh.
no, that's
And
ish.
then the name got me messed up. I'm like, is that she?
It's ish
Okay.
ish music.
So there should be enough couples in your circle to be able to get solid advice from either male or female, sisters, brothers, uncles, and aunts. And I'm so glad you said that. You know why? Because in these days, people in relationships are just as worse. This is why we need these conversations because even the people in relationships ain't giving you proper relationship advice. I have way more people, couples, because they say people in relationships shouldn't take relationship advice from single people, right? But however, a lot of single people shouldn't take relationship advice from some of these couples because there's plenty of them. They
Some of these
cheating on
couples
each
gonna be
other.
strangled.
They cheating on each other. They blasting each other. They doing a bunch of sneaky stuff. They not even a union. So it's almost like I'm the type of person where, and I say this before on my personal page a lot. I'm the type of person where them titles mean nothing to me. I focus on people's integrity and I focus on their character. You being married don't mean that I look up to you like I want marriage advice from you. I have to see your integrity. I have to see your character. I got to see how you treat your person when they not around. I got to see how you treat them when you mad at them. Because other than that, I don't care about you being married. I don't care about you being no couple. You can't tell me nothing if you out here acting single. So I'm that type of person. I'm that type of person. Like I don't do titles like that. Like I don't focus that much on the titles when it
But
comes
that
to.
comes with maturity though. That comes with maturity.
Yeah,
Cause look,
absolutely.
I used to be the one, and he on here, so he hear me. I you ain't got that you in a relationship on your social media page. I was looking for everybody to see that we was
Yeah.
together, that we was in a relationship. And he used to always tell me, if you in a relationship with me, why does that matter?
Ooh, where he at?
He right there. You just look, he on the screen.
That's him. Oh,
Yeah.
I done called you a she. I done disrespect your husband. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man. I ain't mean
No,
to
but
disrespect you.
it took time. It took time for me to actually understand what he was saying. Like you see
Yeah.
people always sharing this post. People can't destroy what they don't know. There's a reason why that people always kind of use that statement. People can't destroy what they don't know. But You can't build what you don't know either.
That's true.
It has to be an open space for if
That's
you are with somebody, you know what I'm saying?
true.
Here, and my brain just went to a whole nother thought. I had a squirrel moment, but here we go. People jump into relationships and they be like, oh, it's 50-50. We in this together. It's 50-50. He give half of him, he give half of me. No, that's flawed thinking. And that's
Yep.
how we were brought up to think, oh,
Yep.
you know, it's 50-50. No, you need to come as a whole person. I need
Mhm.
to come as a whole person. What I
Mhm.
bring to the table needs to complement what you bring to the table. What you
I,
bring to the
I
table
like
needs
how
to
you said
complement
that.
me.
I like how y'all heard that right. Listen, she said compliment. That means y'all are bringing something together. That don't mean that I just come. I'm here to take. Well, I'm the woman. You supposed to take her of me. You what you bringing to compliment it?
Because we always say it this way. What you bring to the table for me? What you got at the table? He got a table just like you got a table. If he don't want to sit at
Oh,
your table, he can go sit at his table and still eat.
oh,
And you can sit
oh,
at your table and still eat. And when y'all decide to come together,
oh.
guess what? Y'all sitting at a bigger table and y'all in the kitchen making a bigger meal because
Mhm,
you saw what you brought to the table and he saw what he brought to the table. So both of y'all eating off of what y'all got and y'all
mhm.
can expand off of that.
We
But if
building.
but if you can't see yourself as a whole person, why you there? I get we go through stuff. I
Yeah,
get everybody got a pass. But at the end of the day,
yeah,
you got to be comfortable with you, which falls back to that self-reflect. And it's not every day is a day. It's
yeah.
a new day. You're not gonna be 100% today. You might be 2% tomorrow. But if
Absolutely.
you got a partner that's with you, your
Yes.
2% match his 98 for the day that he might be 3%, and you got to give him 97.
Mhm.
It's a give and take. It should be fluid.
Yep.
But if I'm
Absolutely.
only bringing 50 to the table and you bringing 50 to the table, where that other 50 at? Is that 50
Mhm.
sitting in the closet for somebody else? That's somebody else 50%. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What we doing?
What
Yeah.
we doing? Either
Yeah.
you all in, and it's crazy when you say all in, you say all in thinking that if this person don't give you all of them, that they ain't giving you none of them. They're giving
Mhm.
you all that they can at the level that they're at.
Oh, at that capacity. Yeah.
You
Yep.
have to be able to love them at their capacity. You have to be able
Mhm.
to forgive them at their capacity. And even in a moment of forgiveness, you have to be able to say, am I willing to forgive you
Mhm.
and still love you through that forgiveness?
And it's
Because
self reflection.
it's gonna be some days I'm not gonna like you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look at you and be triggered. And I'm gonna have to
Mhm.
control myself.
Mhm.
Because in my trigger moment, I can't punish you.
Mm.
And vice versa.
I in that because everything you said again, it all go back to self reflection because you got to think, okay. And I say this as women because we emotional and we think men could just take the punches, but after a while men get tired of get punched too. So it's like for us, it's like in your moment of self reflecting when you don't like your partner, your boyfriend, your spouse, whoever, when you don't like them, you got to sit here and say, okay, if the roles were reversed and they were me at this moment, can I would I want them to stick around? Would I want them to forgive me? Would I want them to treat me how I want to treat them when I'm mad? Like, what it's that self reflection of if I do this to them, what consequences is it going to bring? Like, what seed am I planting in this relationship if I go ahead and spaz? I know this is going to the extreme because I'm really focused on the healthy couples, not the toxic ones, but
But you
this is
gotta
what,
look, you gotta give energy to both of them
yeah,
because at one point in time we was toxic
yeah,
and
yeah.
we grew into the healthy, or we was the healthy and we went into the toxic.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true. So you got to look at it. So let me bring that toxic in. Then you got to look at it. Okay, if I bleach his clothes, how would I feel if he go bleach my clothes out of
That's
revenge? You know what I
nice.
mean? Like,
That's being nice.
yeah.
That's nice, girl. Bleaching clothes is nice.
She said that's nice,
No,
but
serious. All jokes aside, that's being nice. Like you got to go when you say toxic, you got to think grandma, grandpa toxic. You know,
oh,
grandma took a lot of stuff that she didn't say nothing about, but she
hmm
still took care of home. Grandpa does some
but
shit that he
but
was.
see that ain't even toxic though because
It depends
she
on how
took
we.
it.
It depends on how we looking at toxic.
But she took it. The women nowadays they ain't taking it.
I'm
You
not.
go cheat on me, I'm slashing your tires,
Yeah,
I'm busting the wind. You know what I'm saying?
nah.
So grandma didn't do all of that.
These
You
girl,
know,
these look, these females nowadays, they got a little bit more testosterone in their
yeah,
system.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
They gonna
But
swell up with you.
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's that self-reflection. Like, if I do this to this man, am I willing for him to do it back to me? Or do I say, okay, well, you a man, you ain't supposed to do that to me, but I can do it to you? Like, that's the self-reflect, and that's how you know if you're ready for a relationship or not. Because if you think you can do that type of stuff to the person you say you love or that you're building a relationship with, but then expect y'all relationship to not be on quicksand, you're not ready for a relationship. You're not ready for marriage. Because why would you treat your partner, your spouse, whatever, like they are the enemy? That's some self reflection we got to do.
So here's the thing. Here's something else. Here's another way to look at it. Your partner is a reflection of you. How your partner moves, how your partner acts, is a reflection of what you pour or do around them. So
Mm,
if you look at your partner as an enemy, you're really looking at yourself as an enemy.
and they don't
Because
say it like that.
because ultimately, if I look at you, oh, you the ops. Well, shit, I'm the ops. I gotta say it like the kid said. I'm the ops because you an extension of me.
Yep.
So if you out here tripping, then I'm
And
tripping.
and this how you know if people are really one. And this why I made my statement about I don't be focusing on them titles. I look at that character and integrity, because even as couples, you can see who's really divided. Because when you don't think like that, when you don't think we're one, you are moving in a position where you are moving like your partner is your competition, or you're moving like they are your op. So it's like you have to self-reflect again. Are you really truly ready for the work of a relationship? Not the title of the relationship, but the work of the relationship. And you ain't gonna find that until you again self-reflect. So James said here, I agree with that. As long as you know what your status is, it shouldn't matter what social media or the rest of the world thinks. That's another battle as well. I absolutely agree with that. And I also agree, I could see on the other side of the fence, it's like, well, you post everything else, why wouldn't you post me? But
That's immature thinking. I used to think like that. Sometimes I have my moments. I still think like that. I'll be like, you posting everybody else and you ain't posting me.
what's
And I
up?
be mad. But at the end of the day, what does it matter if that person posts me or not? When I'm in the house, I'm there. You know what I'm saying? Those are those insecurity moments. Those are those trigger moments that you have to be able to sit down and say, you know what, maybe I was tripping. You know, that was just an unnecessary argument. Now we up in here beefing. You sitting in the front room. I'm sitting in the room holding my pillow. I wonder if this Negro gonna come in the room and come talk to me. He's sitting up there
Yeah.
waiting for you to come in the front to come talk to him. When ultimately, is what y'all fighting on big enough for y'all to be divided?
And a lot of times it's not for something like that.
You
And
know,
and my
you
thing
have to
is,
know, you have to know what you're fighting for.
pick your battles, because I feel like sometimes we fight over the smallest things, and we fight so much of the smallest things to where we ain't got the energy for the big things, and then that's when we start sinking away. So it's like, pick your battles. Does that really matter? Not only that, you can guilt trip a person into posting you, but it loses its value, because now you're not posting me because you're proud and because that's what you want to do with your free will. You're doing it to shut me up. So now it's like, well, how is that, make me feel any good anyway? Because now you only did it because I said it. And that's something we gotta look at. But let me go to this next one. This is about you. You can share as little or as much as you want. I tried to word it in a way to
Look,
where I'm not
cross my fingers.
intruding.
Cross my
Huh?
fingers.
I try to word it where I'm not intrusive too much. So share as little or as much as you want. But what are some things that you learned from pulling back from your own show to self reflect? Because she had a show, y'all. I don't think she said that in her introduction, but she was doing this type of stuff. And she said she was real hard with it too. But she
So
pulled back.
in my show, like I always said, I wanted to be an open book. I wanted everybody to know everything. But you have to learn discretion. Even in these shows. When you're on platforms like this and people hear you talking, you got some people that's actually listening.
Yeah.
to actually gain intel on how to hurt you, how to jab you, how to stab you, how to get close to you.
Yeah.
You got some people who's really learning because they like, damn, she's saying something that I really could grow from, or maybe I struggle with that. I couldn't tell the difference between the two, and I was just this big
Okay.
bubbly fool. I was naive
Mhm.
because I was just, I just want to be seen. I want people to hear me. You gonna hear my story. But then when I had my black moment, and I was sitting in the room trying to figure out who was I, because in those moments, it was imposter syndrome for real. I was still trying to figure out who I was. While I'm sitting up here trying to help you figure out who you are, I'm sitting up here still struggling trying to figure out who the hell I am.
Yeah.
So when we having these real heart to heart conversations, it's easy for me to pour into you and tell you what you should do, and you should wear this, and you should play this violin this way,
Yeah.
and you should hit that ding dong that way, and when you walk out, you should be great. But then when I turn the camera off, here I am looking at my phone battling. Do I really
Melting.
want to go home? Do I want to
Melting.
be bothered with these kids? Do I want to be bothered with this Negro today? Because I don't want to be bothered.
Yeah.
Look, and I didn't want to deal with me. So what I was doing was, instead of dealing with me, I was pouring myself into a bottle.
Yeah.
I was going in the bottle. Some people smoke. I was drinking. I could drink like a dude, like a, I said it this way. I could drink like I was one of the frat boys.
Yeah.
But when I got like that, I got violent. And when I say violent, I mean really, really
Yeah.
violent.
Yeah.
So I'm
Mm.
like, I have to know when to stop. And I did
Mhm.
not know. I knew what the stop button looked like.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to hit it because I was scared when I hit the stop button, was I going to be able to accept the person that was in the mirror that I was looking at? Was I ready to see the monster?
Mhm.
Because it wasn't everybody else being a monster. I was the monster. I was the devil. I was my own devil. I ain't need you to mess me up because I
Mhm.
could see you from a mile away trying to mess me up, but I couldn't see myself.
Yeah.
I needed to be able to make myself, like we've been saying, make
Mhm.
myself stop.
Yep. And sit with yourself. Yep.
And
I
once I sat with myself, I was able to see some of the things I was doing that hindered previous relationships, that hindered a relationship with mama, that hindered a relationship with my kids, because I saw the devil in the room. The devil in the room wasn't the other people. I was that. And that's where that self-reflect came in. But it took time for me to stop. What you need? Noodles? Woman? Stop looking at my napkin kitchen, y'all. But nah, seriously, all jokes aside, I had to find who I was. Once I figured out who I was, and I'm still doing it. It's some
me
days,
too.
it's some days I'll be like, shut all this, excuse my friend, shut this shit down. I don't want to be bothered with people. I'm not coming to school.
Mhm.
I put my phone on do not disturb from
Yep.
everybody
Yep.
because I gotta deal with me. That might
Mhm.
require me to sleep a couple of hours.
Mhm.
That might require me to go run. That might require me to go and just sit by the water. You gotta find what's your peace. You got to
Mhm.
find that peace in the room. Because if you don't find that peace, guess what? That little thing gonna sit right here just bugging,
Mhm. And it's
bugging.
like we said earlier. Yeah, it's like we said earlier when we were saying about sometimes you gotta get away from the world. If I don't want to answer my phone, I don't want to answer my phone. It's not personal towards you, but I have to regroup. And in the things I made I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, but I did a post on my personal page and I said, cause y'all, this is my business. I know people like, why she keep saying it? This is my business page. But on my personal page, I did a post and I'm saying, even as a life coach, I have to have my own accountability partners and my own life coach or therapist. I don't have a therapist right now, but my own life coach. I have to have that because even though it looks like I'm poised, even though I'm able to give the information out and sit, with y'all and be unbiased or whatever, I still need people or I need to sit with myself, I still have to self reflect because I'm still going through childhood traumas. I'm still going through, like I said, I'm even learning from my divorce. My divorce was back in 2013, and I'm still learning myself from that. So when I'm doing my content and I'm talking to y'all and I'm talking to women and I'm talking to men and I'm sitting here in my own self, when I reflect at the end of the day, I feel like, damn, B, are you ready for a relationship? Are you really ready? You talk this talk and you know what you know. You good at it. But are you really ready? Because after talking to different men, clients, and just seeing posts and people talking to me through the inbox, I'd be like, B, are you ready to be that type of woman to a man that may require that? Are you ready? Do you have that mental capacity? Do you have the emotional capacity? Because right now, all I got to focus on is me and my son. I don't have a man to focus on. So I don't have to add nobody else to my care. So it's like I self reflect on a regular, even with the content that I know, to see like, are you truly ready for a relationship? It ain't about showing people that, oh yeah, I'm a life coach, relationship coach, and I'm married or in a relationship. It ain't about that. It's about really showing healthy relationships. That's my goal at the end of the day. So in that self-reflection, I have to sit back from a lot of people. Like I don't hang out as much as I used to no more. I don't go out a lot. If I do, it's peaceful places. So, it's obviously brunch. I like to eat, but it's brunch. It's things where I like to sit in like my mind. I don't have to be in war mode where I'm at. I can sit and breathe and like reinvest back into my spirit, all the things that I poured out, throughout the week. So it's like I'm always in self-reflection. So I can't deal with people 24/7. People invite me to barbecues and all that. I'd be like, I don't have a mental space right now to deal with a bunch of energies. I know it's just a barbecue. To y'all, it's just a barbecue. But to me, after self-reflecting, I cannot be around those energies. They drain me.
Yeah,
But I've
so
learned it
you're
about
you're
myself.
you're impact. So you suck in whatever's around you. And
Yeah.
some people gotta learn about themselves. They gotta know, look,
Mhm.
I feel the vibe of the room. I feel the vibe before I get in the room. I will walk in the room and turn right around and be like, yeah, I'm down. Where you going? Baby, this ain't my spot.
This ain't it. I felt Nope.
And even if I don't say it, my face is gonna say it. My face is gonna talk way louder than my actions.
Yeah.
Then you gonna know I'm looking at you. If you say something stupid, I'm looking at you like, really?
Hmm.
Or I'm disgruntled and I'm just like, my face is about to tell me I got to go.
That's how I knew I had to sit back with myself again because I would get around people that I was normally around and I'd be in my head like, you getting on my fucking nerves. Like, and I'm just sitting there like, and it probably was on my face. I never said the words, but in my head, I'm like, you getting on my fucking, like, I was so disgusted with the atmosphere that I was in. And it was to the point I say, yeah. Okay. He said he leaving.
Bye.
Thank you for coming.
I
Thank
see you
you.
a little bit.
But I had to sit with myself after seeing that, okay, I get too aggravated with humans. I find myself doing a lot of, so I don't seem like I'm the elephant in the room. Okay, we can go here, we can do that. The whole time I'm conflicted because that ain't really what I want to do. But I want to, I guess so to speak, I want to fit in so I don't be the elephant in the room. I'm to the point, y'all got me messed up. I don't want to go. I don't want to be around them energies. I don't want to be around them conversations. I don't want to be around it. I'm not coming.
I'm that friend. I plan to go somewhere with you. It's an hour before we go. Girl, I'm not going. Find
I,
somebody else.
I
Find
had,
somebody else.
yeah,
Like
protecting
I
your
just have
energy.
you have to know what you can take. You have to.
Yeah. I'm sorry, James. I took your comment off the screen, but it said can't pour from an empty cup. Solitude is definitely necessary. Oh, he was saying it was real. He out. Okay. So Shayla said, right, we're all under pressure. Some people just carry the pressure well, and people think they're not human and go through cycles. Yeah, and that's how I hate it. That's how people do me. And I'll be like, listen, whatever pedestal y'all got me on, please take me off. Because I'm the type of person, you make me mad enough, I'm going to cuss you out. And don't bring up, oh, you were like, don't bring up none of that. I don't want to hear none of that. You're bothering me. Especially after the numerous time I said, leave me alone, you're bothering me. I will cuss you out. So take me off the pedestal. I don't want to be up there. I don't. I want to walk in my lane. I want to be who I am gracefully and unapologetic. I don't want to be on your pedestal. Take me off. I've self-reflected enough to know, yeah, I ain't done with my cussing stage. Take me off your pedestal, please.
You're yet growing. It's okay.
But so as we get ready to close out, as you give us your last words of wisdom, you gave us a lot of wisdom. But as you go ahead and close us out with your last words of wisdom, can you go ahead and touch this part of it? Is self reflection and emotional intelligence closely related?
Yes. You ain't even had to read the rest of the question. Yes. Reason why, in order for you to reflect, you have to be able to accept. And this is not just on self-reflection. This is general.
Yeah,
So you can take this how you need to fit this to whatever situation. You have to be able to look, dissect, accept, and grow.
yep,
You can't do nothing else.
mhm,
If you're gonna blame, don't even start it.
yep,
If you're gonna fight, don't even start it. Because you're fighting the wrong person.
yep,
You gotta fight you. Because ultimately at the end of the day, it starts and it ends with you.
absolutely. Look, dissect, reflect, and grow. I do have her website in the caption, guys. If you love what she has gave you guys, go ahead and check her link out. That's in the caption. It's her consulting link that's in the caption. But you can find her. I'm pretty sure you can find her social media page and everything from that as well. If you want to be a guest, y'all know what to do. Hit me up. My link is on my website, and I will see y'all on the next panel.
Thank
Yeah.
y'all.